Buildings, 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Agada.
Mbijan raganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyenje.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara Allah service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbare mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Ha. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Ha wo mo yo diat ha.
Apelenta
baraka ba ya lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamtel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamtel, Yaibaram.
Alright.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Agada.
Mbijan raganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. What's that? Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbale ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Ah, birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol din fana beteata. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Ha, wo moyo diat ha.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating
Fine. Council, if you're ready to continue, we may please proceed.
Welcome back, Mr. Mboge.
Mr. Mboge, bismillah.
Thank you, Council.
Mr. Mboge, we have covered the several events that took place in your life during those days. Which you believed were not mere accidents, but were designs to eliminate you. Correct? That's your position.
That is my belief, yes.
But as a legal practitioner, you would appreciate that the evidence in support of your claim is not in fact conclusive.
Well, it's purely circumstantial, yes.
And circumstantial evidence, for it to be the basis of a positive finding, it has to lead conclusively or compellingly to one conclusion.
Exactly so.
And in this case, it is not so.
Well, I have not yet given the conclusion.
Fair enough. But with everything you've narrated so far, it just triggers suspicions.
Yeah, I agree.
So could you proceed with your testimony? Perhaps maybe we would reach to the conclusion where one would have to make a final assessment. So in August 2016, you had this accident.
That is correct.
Proceed, please.
Yes, after escaping from that accident, I moved from my house
And I moved to Kanifing Estate.
Was that a plan or a precautionary safety measure? What I mean by a plan is, was that part of your plans before this accident, or was it done as a result in order to protect yourself?
Yes, the movement was a precautionary measure. And also because of my inability to drive, I get my children closer to their schools where they don't have to pay transport to go to school.
Was it more a convenience measure, or was it a safety and security measure?
It
was both.
Why a safety measure? You've explained why the safety measure? You've already explained the convenience aspect of it.
Well, I realized from the accident and related to the facts that I already have from the junglers whilst I was in prison.
Tell us precisely what the junglers told you.
Yes, I can't recollect the name of the particular individuals because all of them come one after the other.
Does the name Bailo ring a bell?
Bailo
is one of them.
I raised the name because you raised Nene Cham,
yes,
as having been their lawyer. And yesterday she talked about them. And we have correspondence suggesting that she was their lawyer. That's why I suggested that name.
Exactly.
Bailo has confessed publicly that he was a jungler.
Yes, he is one of them. I can recall that name very well.
What did he tell? What did they tell you?
Now, if they have instructions to assassinate anyone, they use all kind of camouflage to make the accident or the scene look like artificial.
Could you take that again? To make it look artificial or to make it look like an accident?
Yes, to make it look like an accident. Because I can recall how they narrated the accident of Mr. Fatou. With a truck and a taxi involved. And in this case, in my particular case, this is a truck and a van. But I was not sure whether there was a taxi behind me like it was arranged in Mr. Fati's case. There is communication between the driver of the truck and the taxi driver.
Chokinyolo abenunjele driver motoba driver nying anin taxi on benyato.
In which instance? The Fati instance or your own instance?
Fati la tabang fo iteta.
In Mr. Fati's case.
Mr. Fati la Carola.
So in essence, you using the parameters of similar fact.
Munta wo ibe misalo le dikan wo misalo ko la nyala menketa o odorala.
To suggest that what happened in my Fati's case is what actually happened in your case.
Afoko menketa my Fati la tajinto wala kete ifanantaro.
Yes, exactly, because I cannot confirm a taxi behind me to follow me. But then the van that was ahead of me made a sudden break to force my driver to divert. And then the truck arrived at the same time.
Was the truck coming from a different direction?
Exactly from the opposite direction.
Mr. Mboge, you would agree that for that plan to work, the truck driver needed to have contemplated
motorbike driver ning abe sula la ning fero la mialon ko nyanna sumanale
needed to have known
nyanna jarta pour aya long
that your driver
ko itala driver
would swerve
ba bulo faylale
in the direction
fannala
in which the truck was coming from.
Damen yalon ko motoba bina ko fannal.
Correct?
Onya?
Yes, this is, you can make a simple conclusion out of that. Because,
okay, proceed, proceed.
Because the scene of the accident is a school or schools. And there are so many school-going children on the highway. So you can obviously conclude that when you brake suddenly in front of my vehicle, I cannot go on the right. That's on the side of the traffic. You can only go on one side. That is where the vehicles are coming from.
But why couldn't your driver have swerved to the left?
No, he swerved on the left instead of the right. No, on the left. Because there are people on the side of the road, that is the right side. And the area is full of school children, and this was 8:15 precisely.
I raise these issues, Mr. Mboge, for the purposes of the assessment of the conclusion you are inviting the Commission to draw. For that conclusion to be valid, you have already accepted that the truck driver needed to have known that your driver would only swerve in one direction. That is the direction of oncoming vehicle.
Oncoming traffic. Yes.
The other issue is that they needed to have known that your driver could not stop. So his only option would be to swerve. and to swerve in the direction of oncoming vehicles.
Itela drive atenyan na men hakilo tula damen do wala nyiko handing abelola fana na ba bulo fayla nin fanna la me yalon ko motobuka nani wo fanna la.
Now, the analogy I conclude from the accident of Mr. Fati. There is a taxi that they were driving behind him. And this driver was communicating with the truck driver that was coming from the traffic light, Kairaba Avenue.
Taxi driver aning chokinyolo ba temale aning motobani mi yalan ka boka nan traffic light ma
and they are giving him the calculation of the distance between the junction and their location.
Fona ba yirika ka ngane coming distance o min bije ka bo Johnson ota ka fotatema.
Up to the extent that the truck arrived with Mr. Fati's truck vehicle at the same time at the junction.
For la bang of Mr. Fati la moto anin trogo ni natana benkak Johnson of moto ko to Johnson.
I appreciate that all this can happen. I appreciate that for that to work effectively, there needs to be teamwork by various parties.
Ni ajango fo nyin kusi fanya puru ay ke kut ferete me yalan ko be tamala nyanna abe kala kulte me yalon ko mo jamal ba ko nyin ko ne ba ko nyin tamandi kan hakilo kan nyokam.
But for now, let's focus on your own case.
Silanga nyatin ita fangola ko la yemen taki
and the facts around it.
Anin ko nyin lata nyame ay and abe ko nyin be me ya murumuru an lata nyame.
This is very significant because the commission would have to determine your victimization.
Nyinkuo kumata bagale karun commission nyin fesi futa ko nyin dandulato ya jube itala ko nyin ibulata nyinkuo nyin kono nyame.
And that would have important consequences.
Andunga bina ku kumma bale soro me alonko abina kala kole ya ku kumma len me alonko bina futa la dandulato.
So pardon me to interrogate this issue a little bit.
Silo dinna be yam fo dan le bulu puru ngani nin karo ke nyinkuo to domandi.
You are welcome.
You would agree with me that for their plan to work, they needed to have known that your driver could not stop.
Puru ila nyim fero sitri ngonyim puru ayatama nyanta lonna ko itala drive wonyim ata lono la lad odingira nyin.
Because if he did stop
katu ning alota
on his lane,
atela leno kan abe silo men kan,
he would not have been hit by an oncoming vehicle.
Moto dota mano la me yalon ko wala bina kan akoma.
You agree?
Yes. I agree with that.
And that by itself raises doubts as to whether this was a plan.
All right. I will agree with you also to an extent.
And you would also agree with me for us to use circumstantial evidence. It has to lead compellingly to just one conclusion. And you would agree with me that the set of facts described do not lead compellingly to one conclusion.
Because
of this loophole that has just been identified, that is the possibility that your vehicle could stop and therefore render that plan basically ineffective. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I will agree with you to an extent, like I said.
And by extension, in the absence of any other facts, that goes to the contrary, we might as well consign this case to the realm of speculation.
Ning case ni
Or suspicion.
ning ko nyimbe Allah nyani ni ya jube musa bina futara ko dandula na nyamen sa fono rabe kala kuma kan kumol le don fori kumol le waranto ngunu kumol le don molfe molto.
You agree?
Well, for that I will not agree. This is simply because the officer, I believe, who has been monitoring me.
Just before you answer, my statement is, in the absence of any other facts that go to the contrary,
ning ayatra ko ku beje me alonko wala nyana ko nyi sembente na woteji andu woni wo fatatale.
The facts you have disclosed so far can be called speculative or mere suspicion.
In
the absence of other facts. Yes. So you agree with that?
To an extent, not conclusively.
So do you have any other facts which will remove this from the realm of speculation and put it in the basket of a veritable attempt on your life?
Yes, I can give other facts in addition to what we have already said.
Please go ahead.
Just like I said, when I moved to Kanifing, in December, just before the elections, I want to say it was after the elections. It was within that period, in December, I know. My watchman in my garden at Jalambang gave me a call early in the morning at 4 a.m. and asked me where I am. I said, I'm in Kanifing. Well, what is it? Why this call at this time? Said the people who came here looking for you, if those people see you, he is afraid of the consequence. And he said I should leave the country immediately. I said, but why? Said the way they are dressed and their vehicle shows that they are officers. He cannot recognize any of them. They are all wearing face masks. And the same morning,
did he say whether they were carrying anything?
No, he didn't go to that extent. But the boys, where they passed at 2 a.m. on the way to my compound, they found them on the highway brewing attire. Asked for my compound. But the way they saw them dressed also, they immediately sensed some danger. Said they don't know my house. So which means they went on searching that night on their own
wo say wo koto muneti wo suto nyim fa kam to ko continuité fayne kata nyini
until they got to my garden at 4 a.m. in the night.
Oh, inatena futa na garden oto talan nani somanda.
And early in the morning,
somanda juno,
my watchman went to my house.
Na watchman tata na kordato.
Told my family
afonna molie
that I should leave the country.
Komi nyanta banko bulala.
And they all started calling my mom, my dad, my sisters, and everyone.
Everyone
was worried about my safety. I said, I am safe here. And secondly, I am handicapped. I am sick. I cannot go out at this critical moment. But then the pressure mounted. The whole day they were insisting that I should leave the country. And the only way I could calm them down was to agree to their request. I said, okay, I will leave. But then I never left. I stayed in Kanifing, locked my gate, locked my veranda, locked my door, and locked everywhere. And I bought enough foodstuff to serve me for 2 weeks. And that coincided with the impasse until the former president eventually left the country and I was free to go out.
Effectively, you went into hiding.
Exactly, yes.
And I can tell you, Mr. Mboge, that I appreciate how hard it is for anyone to have to leave his or her country or to go into hiding. By reason of fear of the security forces that are entrusted with your own security.
But then the
So I am sorry to you and to all those persons it's happened to. But you would also agree that the two incidents could be just separate. And may not have any direct connection. Do you agree?
Well, I will not agree to that suggestion. Because I see it as a continuation of the act after the accident where I still escaped from the accident. Ebe continue kanne ka kenna sekatuma kabru wato na accident nyinketa fa banta ebe continue kan ku kilingo nyine noma.
But you would agree that continuation you're talking about, the weakness in that argument is the difficulty or the weakness identified in the penultimate limb. That is, it is not conclusive. That act was by state agents. And if it is not conclusive, it means it may not be part of the chain, part of the link in that chain. You agree?
Sorry to say, but I cannot agree with that. This is...
we would leave it at that. I think the Commission would have enough to be able to make an assessment of the facts in order to determine whether this is one continuum or that there may have been a break in the chain. Either way, the commission would make an assessment on the issue and would decide one way or the other. But in 2006, you did say that you did say that you met Bailo and others in prison.
In 2006
In which capacity? As counsel, visiting? Or in some other capacity? Could you tell the commission, please?
Yeah, this was in 2010, not 2006.
2006.
Pardon me, that was a slip when I mentioned 2006.
Yes. This was after my arrest by the same regime.
And
I was sent to remand.
Could you kindly give us a brief rundown of the circumstances that led to your arrest? Very briefly.
Briefly, I defended about 10 or more cases.
All
from the executive. That is victims of circumstances.
I'm sorry, they were not victims of circumstances. They were either a victim of some nefarious activity by the state, or they were victims of their own misconduct. So, which is it?
Well, you may be seeking for precision.
A little elucidation.
Yes. Circumstances based on their arrest, trial, and convictions. And I myself now became a victim of the same abuse of rights.
Again, you claiming victimhood, victimization. And the commission would be required to make that assessment. Which would implicate having to know the basic facts in order to be able to assess whether this person qualifies as a victim under the circumstances that have been described. So tell us the facts. What happened? Why were you arrested?
This was after the second treason trial, the first one being the Bunja Dabo case in 2006 to 7. And the second was the Lantombong and Sajo Fofana case in 2009.
Were you part of the defense team in the Lantombong case?
I was with SM Tambidu. He was defending Lantombong, and I was defending Mr. Ju.
Then SM Tambidu.
Chief of Navy Staff. What's his name? Ju. The second.
The Lota Lantomboye, the Lota Moye,
Sajo Fofana.
The Lota Sajo Fofana.
Yes. I was representing Mr. Fofana in the case.
Good. So, and then after they were convicted, of course.
Munda okola inarne besoro.
So what happened to you?
Sila muna narna kete fango kundi ngola.
Well, I was representing a client.
Tabe loka mole mi alon ka dia mole sodono.
I can say pro bono.
Aka na doranga manjo fenna.
And after preparing all his papers for him,
kabinata wo mari nyingala kaytol be dedai.
I called him for him to come and sign.
Nata ka kili pura nana pa ka kayto nying ka hatim ka sign kala
because
signature.
He has a power of attorney from his father, who is an old man.
Katoko ay kaytile dedata mi yalan ko wole baytan la ko kitio mi nyanta kelate sellono afama en to yala wo kayto dedata ar kato wato ya tara fama mo ke baltinum ak totale.
He was, according to him, he was all the way in Tujereng.
And
he is on a contract. And he cannot leave that job to come to the court to come and sign his affidavit. He said his father is illiterate. And he doesn't sign, he thumbprints. And he pleaded with me to thumbprint that affidavit for him. Because of the urgency of the case, he wanted filed as soon as possible. I gave the processes, I mean the papers. The interpreter knows what is a court process.
Of course.
To my clerks to go and file.
So natana di naklago la praeta dundi kiti dulato.
I did not even tell them to thumbprint it.
Ma fue fang pour ye tombo kala.
I wanted it filed without a thumbprint.
After nunga dundi kiti dinkirato ya tere man tampo laka.
But when they got to the commissioner for oaths, then Mr. Sambu,
But what we are long, if we tell more mia lonko, walk out all ning, walling and taka fasa kala sino keje.
He said,
Mr. Sambu,
the affidavit is not signed, so I think it was filed already. He said the affidavit is not signed and or thumbprinted. Then I had a new member of staff who doesn't know the implications of thumbprinting an affidavit. And she volunteered to thumbprint the affidavit and get it filed. After the filing and the dating and the service of the process, the same client who pleaded with me to sign and file it on his behalf
turned
around and said he did not authorize me to sign that affidavit on his behalf. He insisted on withdrawing the application before the court. After withdrawing the application already, I believe he got a link with the same person who is monitoring me. That is because they come from the same village in Jambanjele.
Mole mi alonka ni mole be chokinyolo kono wo mo mi alonko wole be buntela ko no masata kan kata ne wo mo kilongo ni tolbe mo jambanjeli koleti.
And then he had an opportunity to get me arrested.
Wato la nata na harje soto pro yente muta.
And ask him to go and report to the police.
Nata fa ko praeta kuma ko ngom futan di police olma.
Well, Mr. Mboge, if the fox is hunting you,
Mr. Mboge ni mo soro mi alonko abede makang.
And you come and put your hand in its mouth. How would you feel if you are bitten by the fox? You called for it, didn't you?
Yes. To an extent, yes. If you can anticipate that this client will come back and say he did not instruct you to do that.
Ninata cool be yere kayajibe komi nyimmo kilmo mi anakle anola ba murra ko mala ko den kanafako atema wo yamago nyimbi.
But with all due respect, Mr. Mboge, we have to call a spade a spade. Let's agree that you are, let's take it for granted that you are being hunted. They were looking for a reason to get to you. You knew this fact.
That is correct.
Okay. Now let's come to the affidavit. You knew it was irregular to file a purported affidavit because it would not be an affidavit without the signature. I am
aware of that. And this is why.
Let me come. And obviously, you knew when you gave it to your staff to be filed, you knew fully well that even if the papers are accepted, the affidavit will be thrown out because it is irregular, it is incomplete.
Without a template or a sign. Yes. Yeah, that is an incomplete affidavit.
Exactly. And you knew it would be thrown out. And the effort would have been ineffective.
Yes, but I would have relieved the pressure on me to get the document filed.
Yes, but step by step. But even at that, it has legal consequences, and I don't want to enter into that. And the thumb printing of the document was uttering a forgery. Just looking at it at the strict interpretation of the law, that is uttering a forged document. With all due respect, I'm not suggesting that you did that. We're just looking at the basic facts. What happened. If it was done by your clerk, it was uttering a false document. You agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that. That is correct. That is, I will add one condition. If I had given the instruction to do that.
We are talking about the act itself.
The nature of the act. I agree with that.
And this uttering of a false document was done by your chambers, by your practice.
And that is why I took responsibility for it.
Exactly. So having taken responsibility for it, you have taken responsibility for a crime.
Yeduno nyim fanan na kolya men beje ya tale.
Knowingly, yes.
Tara malo.
Consciously.
No, but it is consciously.
No.
Okay, we will come to that. These documents were filed, correct?
Sorry, yes.
And there would be returns to your office.
Yes, that's correct.
And as counsel, it is your responsibility to examine your returns.
To
ensure that your documents are in order.
That is right.
And with due diligence, you would have seen that your office uttered a false document.
Yeah. That is right.
And with that, you would have been responsible for that, for the uttering
of the document.
Yes.
That's correct. I took responsibility for that.
And that itself means you are responsible for a crime that has been committed.
Itele lonkunto dunota bara la meya lonko bara tilimbalole kule me alonko amanke ku kendo.
I wouldn't agree with that. I took responsibility for a purpose.
Not
a crime.
So you took moral responsibility, but not legal responsibility.
Yes, because accepting responsibility doesn't amount to criminal responsibility.
I will not get into a legal debate on that. But you would appreciate that whether you are legally responsible for that crime or not is a matter for final determination. Of all the issues in view of the evidence. To see whether you have a defense or not.
And
either in order to determine whether the evidence is sufficient to attribute responsibility for you. You agree that would be a matter for final determination.
Yes, that is the reason why I was charged. And I was taken to court.
And
for determination, yes.
Exactly. So therefore, these intermediary steps of investigating you and charging you were regular. That is what was expected.
Well, this was not a case that was investigated.
But okay, let me rephrase it. The intermediary steps of getting to that final determination, be it investigations, be it arrest, be it laying a charge, and be it arranging you before a court, you would agree that all these steps are regular. And are expected.
I can say they are expected, but not regular.
But
how can you expect it if they are not regular? These are prescriptions of the law.
Yeah, there's a procedure for those steps, procedural steps to be taken before your arraignment.
Yaje jani silol tarambulo lebije miliyalon ko wolek nyanta kata fo jane wato miliyalon ko bafala yelo ndikiti o nyati
not in this case.
Kindly tell me what are the steps.
Silang afanya ba munnem simfada nyalti nyenna menutala.
When the complainant gave his complaint to the police,
wato miliyalon ko moni miliyalon ko wol natala kibaro di polisol.
I was summoned in his absence.
Yendo komande la atema kalamuta.
On a Thursday, the next day, I was before the court. In the morning.
But Mr. Mboge, you would agree with me, all the things you have said point more to the efficiency of the wheel of justice than to an abnormality in the process.
We have seen experience of cases that state has interest fast tracked.
So diamol mi alonko ki mansa sulo soto diamol minto ngajele ka kitol ke nyama ka triya nyami.
So your beef is that it was fast tracked. But that is in fact what we all crave for, that in the justice system everything works so fast, so effectively. That people are tried within a reasonable period of time. People are tried within weeks in which after the criminal conduct has been disclosed instead of years. So all the criticisms you have raised are not in fact procedural errors. You agree?
Yeah, you have not finished, because when I was arraigned for a matter which is not an arson, not a treason, an offense that is a bailable offense, and then from your arraignment, you were remanded in custody straight away and denied the right to bail. That was not what is expected and contemplated of a lawyer. But there are other circumstances leading to that, which I have not explained.
Okay, we would come to those.
Yes.
So let's take it step by step. Let's first talk about the arrest. Was the arrest lawful? And be careful, your pupils are here. So it's your responsibility to teach them the practice of the law. So tell us whether the arrest was lawful.
Yes, I will believe that is so.
So there is no complaint about your arrest. So the issue now is the detention. The remand.
That is right.
And what's the problem with the remand?
I know as a matter of fact that my arrest came shortly after the case of Moses Richards.
No.
What is Moses first? And then when the GBA, that's the Bar Association, called an emergency meeting, decided to protest by boycotting the courts.
I
disagreed with that. I said no. And I suggested the procedure for impeachment of the president. Of course. Is by matching and filing a petition to the National Assembly. And I said this with a caution that we have informers in our midst. And I'm saying this, and I know the next day it will be at the State House.
Are you saying this to suggest that
because of my pronouncement, yes,
there was a motive, there was a reason to want to have you behind bars?
Certainly, that is not all. I had other daring challenges that I don't think anyone can dare to.
But
you have no evidence to suggest that Yaya Jammeh put you in jail because you said that. You only suspect.
It's not a suspicion. This is a matter of fact. This is a time when the trial magistrate, we all know, was a Nigerian. DPP then called Mikhailo. It's also a Nigerian. And we all know this is a case that can be prosecuted by the police.
But do you agree that the IGP prosecutes a case on the fiat of the Attorney General?
IGP police la fanna ka case le kitindi me ya lonko kanne me ya lonko akabo Attorney General lebu.
I would say yes, matters that the state has no interest.
That
is basically the law. Whether interest or no interest, the prosecutorial authority is vested in the DPP under the supervision of the Attorney General.
That is correct.
That is the law. Perhaps we can avoid a lot more polemics by just agreeing that the presiding magistrate had the discretion to remand you in custody. You agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that.
Are you suggesting that the presiding magistrate was obliged to let you go on bail?
Oh, ilafta fala ko magistrate membe siring o kitio ila o kitio nyinkunna abalanta la pour kal bail dila ba.
No, was obliged.
Nyanta
bail dila le, sorry.
He's not even obliged.
Exactly. And by not being obliged, the presiding magistrate had a discretion.
He had no
discretion under the Constitution.
Bail
is a constitutional right under. It's a constitutional right under the Constitution, but it is discretional under the CPC, criminal procedure.
But this is precisely what I have just said.
No, the Constitution supersedes the CPC, and that makes it a right. It's a fundamental right, and not a discretion. So that's where I disagree with.
Okay, let's do it this way.
Sorry, the interpreter is not following me.
Yes,
sorry.
That was a bit too legalistic. Maybe
Yes.
that's the reason why they got lost.
Yes.
But let's do it this way. Mr. Mboge,
yes.
You agree that bail is not an absolute right.
Ebe sonna manyinne ko beliro manke nyinde ka ko nyantola mo yini mo mutumele nyanne beldi lela.
It's not an absolute right.
Amanke mo be nyantoti.
Anyantale kake.
Amanke, it's not.
It's not an absolute right. I know you're thinking, Mr. Mboge, but it's not such a difficult question.
See, it is technical. I know I'm before a commission and I'm before learned, experienced people here.
It's not an absolute right.
No, absolute is a relative term. It's not...
absolute means absolute. There is nothing relative about absolute. Absolute is as absolute as the word.
Because the reason why I don't want to agree with that is because... Under the CPC... It is a discretion. And there it is not absolute.
But even in the Constitution,
it is mandatory under the Constitution, Section 19.
To grant bail.
It's a fundamental right, and that right is mandatory, couched in mandatory language. If you bring the Constitution, Section 19, sub 1, says that no one shall be deprived of his or her liberty.
Yes, but
except.
And by saying except, what does that mean? In accordance. Okay, just a moment. By saying except, you have removed it from the realm of it being absolute to import some derogation.
No. I don't want to agree with the use of the word absolute.
Bring the Constitution. Go to Mr. Gayso. He would give you the Constitution and you bring it.
I will equate it between...
Go to Mr. Gayso. He has the copy. He's sitting right out there.
I think he's in the witness room.
Okay, go to the witness room. He's there. This is very basic, Mr. Mboge. It's either... These fundamental rights are not absolute. There are derogations. And the derogations are the exceptions that apply to them. And because there are exceptions, you cannot call them absolute. This is basic principle of law, isn't it?
Surely there is a line... and a thin line of distinction between the mandatory and discretionary provisions of the Constitution and the applicable general law, that's the CPC.
And the only mandatory provision you had with regards to bail was the absolute provision that for a charge of murder and treason, they were not bailable. That's the only absolute provision, because there's no exception. The rest of it was not absolute. The rest of it was based on the discretion of the judge after evaluating all the evidence to satisfy the judge that this person is not a flight risk and that this person would not tamper with the evidence if he or she were to be released. Those are the only two conditions in which a judge is judiciously able to deny bail. Agreed?
Well, yes, there are laid down conditions, obviously.
For you
to satisfy before you are granted bail.
If
those conditions are satisfied,
let us first agree on the law. That the magistrate had the discretion to grant or not to grant bail.
Under the general law, yes.
And under the Constitution.
No. The discretion will be eroded with the mandatory provision of the Constitution.
Well, with what you are saying, Mr. Mboge, it therefore means nobody can go to jail.
No, I did not say that.
Well, if it is absolute, if it is absolute that everyone has an absolute right to liberty, it means no one can go to jail. If you build in the exception, except where the person is lawfully convicted by a court and sentenced to a term of imprisonment, then you create the exception for a person to go to jail. Here is the Constitution. Look at section 19, personal right to liberty, and read it.
I'm familiar with this section.
But I am not so familiar with this section because I haven't read the Constitution for the longest time. But I can tell you with 100 degree of certainty that there is no law that would give an absolute protection for the right to liberty. I can tell you that.
If you look
take a look at it.
If you look at the language...
Just take a look at it and read it.
That's what I'm saying. If you look at the language of section 19,
just read it out.
Okay. Every person shall have the right to liberty and security. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest and detention.
Arbitrary arrest. So let's underline arbitrary. Arrest and detention. And what does that mean? No one shall be subject to unlawful arrest and detention.
Yes.
And that means anybody could be subjected to lawful arrest and detention. Your arrest was lawful, you accepted.
I agree. It says no one shall be deprived of his or her liberty.
This
is
unlawfully. Unlawfully.
This is the third time that the word shall is used in section 19.1. The third time it says shall, which is mandatory. We all know that.
Mr. Mboge, you are putting emphasis on the wrong word. It is not about the shall.
Exceptions are there.
Exactly.
Exceptions are there. I agree. If you satisfy those conditions, it becomes mandatory. I'm not comfortable with the use of absolute because no right is absolute.
Exactly.
I agree with that. There is no right which is absolute. The issue is between whether it is a discretionary right or it is a mandatory right.
Yes, but
if you satisfy the conditions, then it is mandatory.
But no. If it is discretionary, it implies that it is not mandatory. It's simple semantics.
There are two different languages when it comes to the right to bail. We have the CPC, which makes it mandatory, and I am saying that the Constitution makes it mandatory.
Mandatory for what?
If you satisfy the requirements laid down for your bail, for the granting of bail, it is mandatory. You will be refused bail only if you are a flight risk, you will interfere with the witnesses, or something of that sort.
Yes.
Yes, then you are not, that is where the discretion comes in.
But this is what I have been saying all the time.
Yes.
Okay? The magistrate had a discretion. All right?
Magistrate on
To grant or not to grant bail. All right, and the discretion was to be exercised judiciously. And the judicious consideration was flight risk, tampering with witnesses, or tampering with evidence. I see you nodding your head, so thank you for agreeing.
No, I agree with you.
Okay. So if you did earlier on, we would not have had all this legalistic polemic.
No, but I'm not comfortable with the absolute word.
Well,
right, which is absolute.
Well, you used the word absolute.
No.
You said this was absolute.
No.
Okay. All right. Then I misunderstood you.
The language of the Constitution is couched in mandatory language. That is makes it compulsory for you to have bail if you satisfy the required conditions. I agree.
Okay. So the judge exercised the discretion granted to him or her, or the magistrate, and assessed the evidence in your case and decided to remand you in custody. Did that happen?
No. What happened? That is not the case. After the reading of the charges, normally you are entitled to apply for bail. I was not given the opportunity to apply for my bail.
You would agree with me that there is no law which says that immediately upon your arraignment, the presiding judge or magistrate shall give you the opportunity to immediately apply for bail. There is no written law on that. You agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
Then I will explain. Okay, then let me ask my next question. And by deciding to remand you in custody, the presiding magistrate has not deprived you of the possibility to apply for bail. You agree?
No, I do not agree with that.
Did you apply for bail at any stage?
I did not.
But wasn't that a matter of choice?
It's not a choice, but a right. What I'm trying to explain, if the matter is proceeding to trial on the same day the charge is read, before the adjournment of the case, the trial magistrate or the judge is mandated by law to consider your right to bail.
Mr.
Mboge, you know that the wheels of the criminal justice system are moved by emotions. They are not just moved by wishes or dreams. They are moved by emotions. Is that not the case?
There is a procedure in every court.
Yes. But answer the question.
Not only by motions. Motions apply in superior courts. This is a court of summary jurisdiction.
But it's a motion.
You don't have to apply by motion. That is a formal application.
But it has to be an application.
Yeah, exactly. You have to bring an application.
Okay, good. So it's not just a wish or a dream. There has to be something that would trigger the process, correct?
That is, yes, correct. If you are given the
did you apply for bail? Did you trigger the process by applying for bail? I bear in mind your previous answer. Did you apply for bail?
I said before I will apply for bail.
Did you apply for bail? Just answer that question. Did you apply for bail?
There is a procedure in court.
Just answer the question.
I was not given the opportunity to apply for bail.
But all it took, Mr. Mboge, you are very learned in the law. All it took is for you to say, Your Honor, I wish to apply for bail on the basis of section 19 of that. That's all you needed to say. Isn't that the case? Isn't that the case?
You can do that.
So okay, no.
Good. Was your mouth gagged? Was your mouth gagged?
You can do that when the court finishes recording what it is recording. You cannot interrupt a court. That is unprofessional.
But that's what we do every day, Mr. Mboge. We interrupt judges. We say things. Sometimes we even talk over each other. This is normal.
I agree. But
yes,
if a court records your plea after your plea and sends you to remand without giving you the opportunity to apply for bail, and you are saying that whether my mouth was gagged, I was not gagged, and you know that because in court nobody can gag your mouth.
Okay, so the reason why I ask these questions, Mr. Mboge, is to determine, because what we are mandated to determine is the unlawfulness of your detention.
Dari lo me asab ngay ñinin karo ñinin ka wala ñindi ko ka tum do ko men ditan tolla wala ñindi ko ka kol kisi ka jube mutaro men kede la wala afani luanta yale mbam fo munen.
And the test would require us to examine all the procedural steps.
No koto boro ñing me woyen kanin ñinna pour nga silol ñim be jube ka jube fo silol tata la ba me yalan ko ñanna wollel tala janni be sambala kaso.
If the police had arrested you and bundled you and taken you straight to mile 2 without any paper, as has happened in many cases.
Ning ayatra police oli mudal roye kafunyo mara yesamba kasi bumba to koy ka kodol kanya warra kayti o kayti de ka dolla ko la nyame.
Then we say this detention is unlawful.
Ren sa fo no wada ko de la mutaro nyi wanta ya mutarolem.
But you were taken before a court.
Bari yete samba kiti te la nyati limola.
And the court sanctioned your detention.
Is
that not what happened?
That is what happened, but we all know.
So then, because that is what happened, that is what the law prescribed. That if you arrest a person, take the person before a judge within 72 hours.
Yes. And then the judge
will decide whether to release you on recognitions or to detain you.
And whether
the judge was right in the considerations or wrong does not mean that your detention was unlawful. The mere fact that the judge considered the issues and arrived at the decision whether to release you or not rendered it lawful. The judge could have made a mistake in the application of the law, but that is a matter for appeal. On this particular occasion, Mr. Mboge, it looks like it was regular.
I beg to disagree with you. I don't want to argue legally or my arrest and detention, whether it's legal or lawful or
Mr.
unlawful.
Mr. Mboge,
that is for the commission to decide.
Yes, the commission would make its finding on these things, and if you, I don't know what that finding would be, but in the event that they made a finding with which you are not happy, you could utilize the provisions of the rules of procedure to deal with that issue. So you were sent to detention.
Yes, indeed, luckily.
Whether lawfully or unlawfully.
What happened next? We will indicate to you that it was just a kangaroo court. Why? Because if you are detained on Friday, on Monday you are supposed to appear in court. And before you appear in court, you are already granted bail. Is that a court? That's how the court works. As a lawyer, we all know that before you are granted bail, you have to stand before the court.
But even if you impugn that decision. What you are impugning is the release and not the detention.
Even the detention is wrongful. As far as I am concerned.
Your difficulty, Mr. Mboge, is to pinpoint a legal reason which would be the ground to base a finding that the detention was unlawful.
What I'm saying before this honorable commission is that not only the detention, even the arrest, the detention, the prosecution is all politically orchestrated.
Commission bunyari ngo nyati ngola wala nyinti ko na muto ani wato na yensen samba kiti dinkirat ni abeji be fenne mialan ko political le dabula takon.
And that may very well be true.
That is what I'm saying.
Yes, but the fact that it may have been politically motivated does not mean that the process was unlawful. You agree with that?
No, I don't agree, because you can use the due process of the law to abuse the same process. And that has been the order of the day. The law is being used to abuse people's rights. And that is what happened.
What I can agree with in your case is the executive had a beef with you, and you gave the executive an opportunity to deal with you, and they used the law to deal with you, to produce a consequence that you did not wish for yourself. But that does not mean that the process was unlawful.
Well, I will not agree with that. Because...
But okay, let me ask you this question, Mr. Mboge. If you had killed somebody, God forbid, I think we've said that in unison. Okay, let me use another example. Okay? If you had hit somebody.
You reverse it. If you had hit somebody.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Example of yourself.
Yes. If I have hit somebody.
Yes.
And it is understood that this is a crime.
Like an accident.
No, if I deliberately do it, it's a crime. Correct?
That is right.
Would I be entitled to arrest?
Sure, certainly.
Would I be entitled to detention pending trial?
Yes, that's a right. On the prosecution, they have the right to 72 hours detention.
But even after the 72 hours, would it be procedurally correct to bring me before a magistrate or a judge and have me detained?
No, you can be brought before a court of law, but you cannot be detained.
You cannot be detained.
No,
is that the law that is practiced in this country?
See, we are dealing with a situation that we are all aware.
I'm not talking about a situation. I'm talking about the application of the law, straightforward facts.
For instance,
does a judge or a magistrate have the power to detain me in the circumstances described?
If it is a misdemeanor and it is a bailable offense, you are entitled to bail.
Being entitled to bail does not mean that I will necessarily and must get bail. You accept? It means I may or may not get bail.
Ufulalem. Asikeno, Arisikeno, the bill financial.
Correct?
It depends on the facts.
Exactly. So it depends on the facts. And since...
Just a minute.
You want a few minutes, Mr. Moon?
Yes.
Okay, please, by all means.
Comfort myself, Mr.
Of
Chair.
course, by all means. Perhaps, Mr. Chair, we could just take the break now, the lunch break. Yes, we take the lunch break.
You continuing with him?
When we come back, I will take only 20 minutes with him, and then we'll finish.
20 minutes or 10 minutes?
20 minutes at most. I mean, I can leave this point and just leave it to the commission to decide. But I just wanted to ensure that all the relevant issues for consideration has been brought out and that he knows that those considerations are being taken into account.
No, I'll leave it to you. If you need to continue with him
20 minutes.
Briefly, we can do that after the 1 hour lunch break.
Yes, Mr. Chair, 20 minutes most.
So we can do that, but let him just come back and then I'll respect him and honor him with the announcement that we will go.
He can be informed.
I'd rather do it. Yeah, let's wait until.
Okay, all right, no problem. Thank you.
I don't want to close the thing in his absence.
Much obliged, Mr. Chair. Much obliged.
I'm sorry about that,
No,
Mr. Chair.
no problem at all. It's call of nature. We will take a lunch break and then come back at 3 o'clock. So meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
when me touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see that.
For all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe, and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek loo lañ soxlaati rek maanaam bu dee am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal bel la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw Skincare Plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skincare mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox Skincare Plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu nga United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories. We do dresses as well. We do blouses. I mean, we do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fu nek ni rew mi fi ken waratu fi task. Ken waratu fi am problème kanam, ken waratu fi am problème picture. Boko amé dafa fekk ne rek ñewulo ci place bi fi.